Welcome back, family, to course 4 of Classroom to Boardroom. We are going to talk about how to be an impactful speaker. Now, I don't care if you want to be a speaker, if you don't want to be a speaker, if you haven't planned on being a speaker. This is really just learning the art of articulation. This is really just learning how to effectively communicate to an audience, to a group of people. If you don't ever want to do that, then I don't really know what to tell you, because if you are watching this, that means that you're going to be an entrepreneur, you're going to be successful, you're going to be a leader, you're going to be that author, you're going to be that successful community leader on some form of life. So you're going to have to learn how to communicate and articulate your message, articulate your points, articulate your themes, your to an audience of any crowd, of whether it's 10 people, whether you're articulating in a classroom setting, in a conference setting, or in an arena. These are the steps, these are the principles, these are the methodologies and strategies that you're going to learn today. And the overall objective, let's get into the objective, because I'm a speaker by trade, so the overall objective of today is to frankly and simply just help you be a better speaker. So what is speaking? What is public speaking? Now, I don't know the overall definition, because I'm not really big on finding and looking definitions up in the dictionary, because as an author, as a 4-time author, 3-time best-selling author, and about to be a 5-time author at the age of 26 years old, I've heard that authors, we come up with our own definitions of stuff because we have that credibility. So public speaking, in my opinion, is simple. You're speaking in public, but not that simple. Public speaking is finding a way. This is you, and this is a nervous face. You're a little nervous. This is a way to take everything. This is your past experiences, past pain, past relationships, past love, past business, past knowledge, all of the things that have been passed down in your past life from today that's really making you nervous. These are all of the things that are in your mind. This is your mind. Let's say your mind, and it's almost the same size as your head, but I'm not an artist, so we'll figure that out later. Speaking publicly, public speaking is being able to take everything from your past, put it into your mind, and figure out a way to deliver it to an audience and make them happy. This is just a bunch of happy people and an audience. That's all it is. But the biggest thing in speaking is first figuring out who your audience is. I believe that a lot of people don't like to speak because they don't want to speak about their past lives. They don't want to speak about their previous experiences, but you have a gift. You have a story, you have a testimony, and it's time for you to share it with the world. So I want to talk about a few strategies that I like to use to really being able to not just deliver a speech, but really cultivate a speech, craft a speech, and how to find your audience, how to get booked as a speaker, all these different things. Because you have a testimony, you're going to be a leader, but the first thing that you need to understand is what is the pain point. And we talk about this all the time, but I don't even think I've ever defined pain point. This is the thing that brings me pain. This is the thing, maybe I'm suffering from depression. Maybe my dad left me. Maybe I just always fail in school. Maybe I broke my leg as an athlete, tore up my whole athletic career. Whatever you're going through, or whatever you maybe went through, maybe you can find the pain points that you overcame, and then find the pain points of people out there similar to you. The goal of speaking, the overall goal, this is the goal, is to influence from the heart. The heart. Not talk from the head. And why I say this, I think maybe this is a colloquial term, but I used to hear all the time, stop talking out your neck. Stop talking out the side of your neck, Kyle. And one of the biggest things that I don't want to hear you speak out of this your neck. Think of a big turkey neck. That's your neck. I don't want you to get up there and you have an audience full of people, or even you being in the audience, and I'm sure you've heard it before, and just there's a speaker up there that's not interesting, that's boring, that's way too excited, probably like I am right now, that's not hitting the points, that's not dealing with your pain point, that's not really talking to your problem. So now it forces you to find your cell phone, go in your cell phone, maybe get on Instagram, take a picture, a video, and like I've done before in the past, talk about that person on your Instagram and how you're about to fall asleep and all these different things. You don't want to be that person at the Apollo that's getting tomatoes thrown at you because you're not talking and influencing people from the heart, and you're really focusing on talking from your head. Speaking is not talking and getting up there and speaking about all of the things that you know, and speaking about all of the things that you've accomplished, and really speaking about all of your knowledge. No one really cares about your knowledge. All an audience cares about is how does your past affect positively my present? How does what you went through help me get through what I'm going through? Let me say that again. Speaking effectively, the art of articulation, the art of public speaking, is being able to take your past, connect it with your audience's current, present circumstance. I mean, like what they're going through right now, like today. Like, say we're speaking, you have a speech in about 30 minutes. You need to find that 10 minutes to get there. The other 20 minutes, you need to figure out their pain point and the things that they're struggling with, the things that they're battling, the things that they're trying to overcome, and figure out what thing that I go through that aligns with that. Now, I know you're probably on the other side and you may have an interest with talking to kids that were bullied, but you were never bullied. Maybe you were the bully, or you didn't have any experience with the bully. I believe, in my personal opinion, that you shouldn't be speaking to those people. You need to find a lane. You need to find a niche. You need to create those experiences from the heart, from things or past experiences or things that you've really been through in your life. And I truly believe that will help you be more equitable as a speaker. Now, next point is focus on what people are hungry for. So what is the need? I believe that right now, bullying is huge, depression is huge, anxiety is huge, all of those things are huge. So don't become a trendsetter, or don't become a trend hopper or a trend waver. Like, mental health and awareness is big. So I do believe if you've suffered or you've overcome mentally the mental health causes, then I truly believe that it would be very beneficial for you to go speak to a school. Not maybe speak to a school, youth organizations. You have churches, you have parent groups, you have different schools, universities, all of these different people. And I do believe that schools are truly the most valuable, that's a heart, and the most profitable. The reason why is because schools maybe in different demographics, maybe in different locations, maybe in different places, but right now there's 130,000 schools in the U.S. 130,000 schools from the K through 12 level, from the New Yorks to California and everywhere in between. So what I want you to think about is that schools, there's so many of them. In a 50-mile radius around you, there's so many different schools that you can tap into their students, because that's just an incubator of innovation. All schools have the same mission. That is to progress their students, progress their staff, progress their economy, progress their parents and teachers and faculty through life. And if you have something that you battle with in your past, if you have something that you went through or that you overcame and you progressed from, now you have an immediate connection to being able to deliver that to the people that would be able to speak to the pain point that you've already overcome. So as a speaker though, there's 3 things that are critical. The first thing that I've learned is it's called the art of storytelling. Now, I remember growing up, and you learned this in the last lesson, that I used to be an expert storyteller. I mean, I'm probably still an expert storyteller. I exaggerate, I use my emotion, I'm very excited, and sometimes that exaggeration comes off like a lie, so my dad has to be like, did that really happen, Kyle? It's kind of like if you follow Kevin Hart and he's talking, well, let me tell you a story. Well, this happened and all these different things, and he's like, you really don't know if he's telling the truth, but it's so good that you kind of just gotta laugh. That's me, pretty much in a nutshell. Without the laughing, I kind of find a way to create the story, but you have to figure out ways to tell stories. And the people that you can learn from best, like I just said, are comedians. They are genius storytellers. I believe comedians are better storytellers than actual storytellers. Like people out there that are reading or vocally reading audiobooks and creating audiobooks, comedians have them beat all of the time. Comedians take you through a whole story to get you to the punchline at the end and makes the whole crowd laugh. They will walk you through the whole process from me waking up in the morning to me making the bus on time, to me realizing that, I don't even know. Let's just come up with something. Me waking up in the morning, to me realizing that I caught the bus on time, to then I forgot my notebook, and then I had to go all the way back home. When I was going back home, I fell in a puddle, and then I realized that, I'm really bad at this right now, so I don't really have a story, but you have to get into the point where you are telling stories to the point where you are building people up for something, and then you hit them with a punchline. And the punchline in speaking is what we call the overall objective. How you craft speeches is by figuring out this first and figuring out what process am I going to take people on to be able to get them to this point. So one thing that I like to help people is jump. Like helping people realize when to jump out of their discomfort and out of their comfort into a place where they're not really comfortable at all. So one thing that I share with people all the time as I'm trying to help them become speakers is, I always share a story of me going skydiving, and the whole experience was just absolutely just crazy. I feel like the normal person, the average person, would have never went if you would have had to go through all these different things, and that probably would stop me from going, right? So I went skydiving when I was in college, and going there, I signed the papers, and I was standing in line, and I was reading the papers. I paid my money first. It's funny how they get you to pay your money before you actually sign the waiver. So you sign the waiver, I'm going down, I'm reading it, and then I notice at the end it says, if you die, we don't have liability. If you pass away, if any injury, bodily harm, I don't know what bodily harm could happen if you fall out of an airplane, you're pretty much gonna die. So they should have just kept die. So me spending my last $150, I was out of luck, so this is just it's just the cost of living, right? So I signed my paper, and I'm going into the little place where we had to watch this like tutorial video, and I noticed that I had a text message, so I take out my phone. This is my phone. You just gotta use things as a speaker, and then just have props. So I open my phone, my mom sends me a clip of YouTube videos, and the title said, skydiving experiences gone wrong. So I'm like, out of all of the times that you could have sent me this text message, you would send this right now. But my dumb self opened the message, looked at the videos, and watched the first 2.5 minutes. I mean, people's parachutes coming down on them, people's legs getting broke, people dying. You know the video is getting ready to be bad at the beginning of the video when it says there's graphic material or all these different things. So long story short, went through that. Now I'm a little nervous. I'm a little bit nervous. So then I get to the part on the plane. So we finally on the plane. I'm like, you know what? I spent my last $150. I'm here now. We just going, hey, you only live once, right? So get on the plane. I'm on the plane. I'm flying. We're flying. really noticed I started to make this thing a cultural thing, and I noticed that I was the only black person on the plane. So then I really started to get nervous because it was just me. Everybody else was jumping and everybody else was jumping. I just happened to be the last one on the plane, so I didn't know what was gonna go down. He could unclip me. I had all of these different things in my head, what was gonna go on. I'm in this plane, it's shaking. So what he tells me is that, hey Kyle, we're gonna count to 3. And we're gonna really slide to the end of the plane. I'm gonna count to 3. We're gonna rock, and then we're gonna jump, or I'm gonna push you, or I'm gonna slide you off the plane. So I'm like, this doesn't even sound right. This doesn't sound real. But what I started to realize is that this wasn't real. So I sat back. I told him, I was like, excuse me, sir. I don't want to do this anymore. It's $150 that I'm just going to lose. I'm going to call my parents. They'll pick me up. My parents lived all the way in Georgia. I was in Colorado at the time. But that's besides the point. The point is that we counted to 3. He said, he looked back at me. He said, there's one-way ticket. Either I push you off or I jump you off. Or I push you off or you jump off. So I was like, you know what? I feel like I have better chances of living. And I feel like this would be a better experience if, I just jumped off. So let me stop being and let me just jump off. So he counts to 1, 2, and then he pushes me. We didn't even get to 3, people. We didn't even get to 3. So I'm screaming, I'm yelling like a little baby, So open my eyes, and then I'm like, yo, the parachute pulls, and I'm like, absolutely the most beautiful view. Most beautiful view. And I think about a lot of times when people let the distractions, they let their environment, they let what people are saying, they let all of these different things distract them from taking that jump. They let all of these different things around them stop them from really jumping into the success, into the dream, into the vision, into that gift that they've been wanting to do for their whole lives, that they invested in, they spent and invested their whole life savings, that check, that energy, that time, they spent it all in their dream and they never jump. But I feel like other people are on the other hand. What if you had that person, like my man on the plane, that said, if either you're going to jump or I'm going to push you. How many of us have people that are going to push us to jump? Even when we don't want to be comfortable, even when we don't want that dream bad enough, we have people around us that are going to help us jump. People, that was the punchline. That is public speaking at its finest. You take people from a story, you set them up, you make them laugh, you have them engaged. I call it a pregnant pause, and then it's waiting for the message. As I sped up in my speech, I sped your heart rate up, and as I slowed down, you were more engaged with the video. You are more engaged with the speech. That is what we have to create. That is the type of environment that we have to create within our speeches. Crafting a speech is only about first finding the objective. What is the end? Then creating a method, creating a story that you can learn from, that you went through, that some past experience, and getting them to this point with a little bit of spaz, with all of you. You have to be personable, not plastic. You got to be you, people. I don't need you to come up there and speak like a Gary Vee, like an E.T., like a Les Brown. I need you to be the best version of you. It's not about telling my story, and it's not about copying Les Brown's story, because that's one thing. That's a speaker no-no. Stop copying people's stories. Stop copying people's messages, and I need you to create your stories based upon what you went through. Whether you went through an accident, whether you went through a funny time, you got to figure out what are the messages in your stories. So one thing that I used to do that has really helped me as a speaker, helped me as a person, is I want you to write down all of the experiences in your life. Write down all of them. Or let's start with 10. Let's start with 10 experiences. All of the good stuff and all of the bad stuff. What were the good things and what did you learn? Or what did you gain? What did you gain? And then all the bad stuff, what did you learn? Because I got stories for days. There was a time where I was, I think 15 years old. I had my permit. And my parents, I really wanted to go to this party, but my parents wanted to go to a concert more, so they left me at home. But I still wanted to go to the party. They left the keys to their car at the house. What I did, I took the car, people. I I went to the party still. I took the car. I came back. Everything was great. And then I ended up crashing the car into the garage as a 15-year-old. Absolutely absurd. What I did as a 15-year-old, because I watched a lot of Law and Order, I ran in the house, got a paper towel, and I wiped down the whole car. I was looking for fingerprints. But what I did is then I called my parents and I said that, Mom, Dad, someone stole the car and crashed it back in the garage. If you want the whole story, you got to create a speech. I want your homework assignment tonight to figure out how that story ended and the message from that story. It's not about finding my story or hearing the rest of my story. It's about creating the message in your life, in your sphere of what you've been influenced by, or the sphere of how you can influence people, and really being able to set the foundation to delivering your speech. One more thing that I want to talk about is helping you find your reasoning and your rhyme, and then your realization. What is your reason for doing what you do? What is your style? How are you gonna flow? What is your organicness, your specialness about what you do? And then when did you come in the realization when that started to work in your life? Use these 3 steps to tell stories, to connect, to learn from comedians, to then get to the objective of your speech. So walking people through your good experiences and teaching people based upon your bad experiences. Because I truly believe, it's an African proverb that says, it is fools that learn from the mistakes of themselves, but it is a wise man or a wise woman that learns from the mistakes of others. I want you to help others learn from your mistakes, to make students more wise, to make business make better decisions, more wise decisions, to just make this world a better place. So the steps to being a more impactful speaker are the steps that we took in our lives to get us to the place that we are today. The steps to making you a more impactful speaker is all of the things that happened in your past and helping people that are going through those same things in your present and aligning them together, connecting, and having that energy of synergy between both. Making you a more impactful speaker is not about you. It's finding the pain points in other people and how you can speak to those pain points, create a solution for those pain points through connecting these people with who you are inside and speaking to the heart of those people that you're trying to influence. The goal here is not to just speak to get paid. The goal here is speak to get impact. And when you start impacting more people, that's how your income will rise, and that's how you'll be able to turn your pain into profit. I look forward to seeing you guys in the next course.